In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this wishing well made out of 10 cedar fence pickets. This one's to cover a well pump cover, but I usually make these and turn them into planter boxes. I have the build plans linked below in the description if you're interested. And to start this build, we're going to start cutting the sides, and we're going to cut 12 pieces at 20 inches, which we're going to rip down with the table saw to make 24 pieces at 2.5 inches. Now you can keep your pickets full length, but I like it better with the ripped sides. I think it gives it a better color contrast, but that's just my opinion. Some might say added value. But anyways, once we have everything ripped down, we're going to have 24 pieces, 20 inches long, 2.5 inches wide, and we're going to start making the sides. Each side is going to consist of 6 of these strips, and we're going to make the first 2 sides here by gluing a 2-inch strip by 15 inches long for the trim piece. We're going to put one on the bottom and one on the top of the first 2 sides. And this is going to be what holds the slats together. I'm using some Titebond 3 and some 1.25" brad nails. You can use some 1-inch deck screws here, exterior screws if you want to. I think the brad nails just give it a cleaner look. That's why I go with that on this project. Once we have 2 of those made, we're going to come back. These are 4 of the trim pieces for the other sides. We're going to measure over 1.25" on each one of these pieces on each end. These are going to create the little tabs, so when we glue it together, it fits together like a puzzle. And just like before, we're going to lay out 6 of those side pieces, and then we're going to have 1.25" overhang on each of these trim pieces. And the same thing, Titebond 3, 1.25" brad nails. And these trim pieces measure 17.25 inches. So the other ones are 15 inches. You want 1.25" on each side. 1.25" times 2 is 2.5. 15 plus 2.5 is 17 inches. 17.5 inches. That's how I got that measurement. Next, it's time to put the box together. We're going to add some glue to one of the tabbed sides. Then we're going to fit in the other side, one of the other sides that doesn't have a tab. And we're going to just run a couple screws to the side. These are 1-inch deck screws. I'm putting 3 in here to help piece it together. And I'm always pre-drilling everything with the cedar fence pickets because they split so easy. And then for the next tab side, add some more glue, fit it into place, pre-drill, and add some more screws. And then for the last side, more glue, and it'll just slide it on there and add the rest of the screws that we need to complete the box. Pretty easy. And these pieces are the posts. I'm ripping them at 2.5 inches wide, and they're 54 inches long. And I have 2 of these. And then to install them, I'm just going to line them up in the center of one side. And I'm going to use a couple 6 screws to hold them in place. I didn't glue these in yet because I have to transport it, so I'm going to have to take it apart to transport it. Next is the roof supports. These are 16 inches long with 45-degree angles on each side. They're non-parallel angles, which will make sense here in a minute. Then we're going to add pocket holes to one side of each one of those. I have my bit at a 1/2 inch, and I'm going to use Titebond 3 and 1-inch pocket hole screws to put these together. The pocket hole screws here act more as a clamp to help that glue dry. That's the only reason why I'm really using them here. But we're going to make 2 of these triangle pieces, which is what the roof is going to be screwed onto later on. Next, we're going to put them on. So I measured about 1.5 inches down from the point of these triangle pieces and marked a line, and that line is where I'm putting these onto the post. But you'll see later on that I messed up here, so Had to come back and fix it. But I'm just trying to center them up, add a couple screws in there to hold them on. I think I'm using 1-inch screws here. Then next, this is just a little brace piece. It's a 2x4 ripped in half at 15 inches. And we're going to screw that in. I think I measured 30 inches up here. Put a screw in on each side. You can tie a rope or something on here if you want it to make it look more like a wishing well. I've done that before also. These pieces are more of a decorative piece. They're 11.5 inches long, and there's a 45 on one end. And at the side the 45 is on, we're going to add a couple pocket holes. And then we're going to pocket hole it right to the post. And this is where you can tell I messed up a little bit. I had to go back and fix it. These pieces are supposed to be flush with that roof support. I didn't have the roof supports on very straight, so there's a little bit of overhang. So I had to raise them up a little bit and adjust it. Wasn't a big deal though. And then the other end that's not pocket holed, we're just going to screw it right into the roof support. Speaking of the roof, these are 4 pieces ripped at 17, or they're ripped at 4.5 inches, and they're 17.5 inches long. Then I'm adding these 1-inch strips. I measured 4 inches up and 4 inches down from the top and bottom and marked a line. And that's where I'm installing these strips, which is going to hold the roof together. Just using 1-inch deck screws here and Type Bond 3, of course. And the other side of the roof is 4.5 inches wide, but they're 18.25 inches long, which will make sense here in a minute. The same thing, 4 inches down, 4 inches up, add the strips. I haven't made one of these in a while. It's a pretty easy project that I think a beginner could do. It's just a lot of pieces. You just take your time. It goes together pretty well. Turns out pretty sharp. And then to install the roof, we're going to do the 17.5 inch side first. It's going to be flush with the point of the roof supports. I'm going to run a couple screws along the sides here to basically tack it in place. And then once that one's on, we'll flip it around and put the other side on, the longer side. And it's going to raise up so it's flush with the other roof. That's why it has to be a little bit longer here. And then the same thing, we're just going to add a couple screws along the sides. And just like that, you have your wishing well. Not too bad for some cedar fence pickets. I'll have the build plans linked below in the description, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.